So let's make a mask. I will provide you with 2 pieces of material pre-cut to a 6x9, 2 pieces of elastic, and 1 pipe cleaner for your nose bridge. You're going to be sewing your 2 pieces together inside out with the elastic on the inside to make the body of your mask. So we are set up and ready to make our mask. I keep my 2 pieces elastic close and handy. You're making your mask bag inside out, so it's important to leave a gap open big enough so that you can turn it inside out. If you make it too small, you won't be able to get your hands in to turn it inside out. So I put it under the needle and I do 1 back stitch. That just makes it a little bit easier when you go to turn it right side out that you don't tear it. So I do a stitch all the way down to the bottom using about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I stop when I get to roughly the end of the bobbin case. If you stop here, it makes it a little bit easier. Now, putting in the elastic. This is what's going to go for your ear pieces. So what you'll do is you'll just feed this piece of elastic. You don't need to pin it because it ends up taking a lot longer. So I'm feeding that elastic in there and I'm going to leave it at a corner. So if you kind of feel like this is a sandwich, so you make your little sandwich with your elastic in there. So call your elastic your bacon. Leave a little bit of that bacon sticking out of your sandwich just like that. I go ahead and then I stitch over it. And then I do a back stitch. Okay. Now I do 1/4 turn. So your 1/4 turn will leave you with your corner just sticking out like this. This is what makes that nice little mitered corner when it's all done. I stitch over it, and then I do a back stitch, and then I come back to my original spot. Now I'm going to do 1/4 turn again. I'm obeying my 1/4 inch seam allowance because that will make my corner look nice. And I will stitch down to the other side. Stopping at the bottom of my bobbin case. This gives you room to pull your little breads back to make your bacon sandwich. Okay, then you just take your little piece of elastic, you bring it out, let it hang out just a little bit, and then you stitch back over it again. Now you've just completed one side of your mask. Okay, and then stitch back over it, and stitch back over. Make your 1/4 turn so that your point sticks out like this for your nice little corner on your mask. When you turn it right side out, do a back stitch. Great. Now you're going to do your 1/4 turn, obeying my 1/4 inch seam allowance one more time, and now I'm going to stitch down the side. This is the top of your mask. Stop at the bottom of your bobbin case. You have a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This muslin is a little bit thin, so sometimes it kind of gets off a little kilter. All right, so you're going to put your piece of elastic in. Let it hang out just a tiny bit, and it's just a little tiny bit above. If you put it way on the corner, when you stitch over it, you get bunched up here. So I just do it just a tiny bit above. The finished size of your mask is about 8 inches wide, so this is a 9 inch, so you have a little bit of wiggle room. It's not like a quilt. All right, so we are going to now stitch over your elastic. Now back stitch. That secures it. And 1/4 turn, do some stitches, do some back stitches, come back forward, and your 1/4 turn again. Stop at the bottom of your bobbin case, bring your elastic over, and just place it right in there. And now come back and stitch over your elastic. And now come back, and one more time. 1/4 turn. Let's do one more stitch. 1/4 turn, and now you're doing the final run. As you're coming down, remember you need to leave a space big enough for your hand to be able to get in. If you have hands that are this big, that's great. Most of us have hands that are about this big. So I've left a nice space open, and now I'll do a quick little back stitch. That just keeps it from being difficult to having it tear when you go to turn it. So now I'll cut my thread. Now we're going to go on to the part where we put in our nose bridge. I've already provided in your bag a piece of pipe cleaner that can be used as a nose bridge. These masks are not meant to last somebody for the next 6 months. So yes, we do know that cleaning them could make the nose bridge rust, but we tell people to hand wash and dry flat, and hopefully by the time this mask is no longer good, we are able to have they'll be able to be thrown away. All right, so I have, I'm going to use a wide zigzag stitch, and right now I'm using a 4.5 millimeter and probably about a 1.8. So what I do now, because I know that that nose bridge goes in right about there. So what I do is I come back over to here, I line up the edge of my presser foot with the edge of the fabric, and then I'll dock my needle. Because my machine has a hover function, that's what I can do. So it lifts it up. Now I know exactly where to put that pipe cleaner in so that it stays nice and tight on the top of the nose bridge. So I will put it and just angle it up there just a tiny bit more, and then I'll drop my presser foot, and I just do one stitch over to make sure that I am going to not bottom out on that pipe cleaner. So once that pipe cleaner is in there and I know that I have a good stitch, I will stitch it in there. While you're stitching this, if you happen to feel the edge and it maybe feels like it's a little, that it hasn't been crimped down quite enough, and sometimes that happens, you can just take the edge of your scissors or something and just give it a little bit of an extra press to push it down. You can also do a little bit of a back stitch over the end of that elastic, and pipe cleaner, sorry. And now it's in there secure. Now we'll go ahead and we'll cut our thread. We'll move on to the next part where we're going to trim our corners. This will help prevent our bulk. So we just trim the corner. Because you made a really nice corner right here, all you have to do is just trim that corner just like that. Okay, that's perfect. Now we're going to turn these right side out and press them, and that's all you have to do to bring it back to me. This video, being an instruction, took about 6.5 minutes to do, so I am super appreciative of anybody that's going to help me make masks, and thank you all very much. I'm going to turn it real quick and press it so you can see that part too. Okay, we're going to turn the mask now. So because I did a little back stitch on the top and the bottom, that kind of helps it from becoming unraveled when I am turning the mask. So I stick my thumbs in it and I just walk my fingers to the edge. Okay, and then you just continue to, I just use my finger and keep pulling. If you've made a big enough opening, this is super easy to do. If you haven't made a big enough opening, then this is not as easy to do. So then when you're all done, you have your mask body put together. So now we just kind of give a gentle little tug on the corners, and look at how nice those corners looked when you did that quarter turn. So, and then we just kind of, I just finger press these, and on the top part, I kind of finger press this down as well. And then we're going to take it over to the pressing mat, and we will go ahead and press. On this part, I just kind of tuck them in. We used that 1/4 inch seam allowance, so that should all work really well. So just kind of give it a little tug, a little finger press. Now when you go to press it on your pressing mat, it will be great. When they're done being pressed, they will look like that. Nice and flat. When you will return these back to me just flat like that, that's awesome. Then I will finish up with doing the pleats. I have a pleating method that works spectacular. So we'll do the pleating method. We're seeing a lot of orders for masks come in every day. So I appreciate everybody's help and thank you so very much. Let's put an end to this. Hashtag COVID kindness. Thank you. You can request your mask or join our sewing team at www.catmackphotography.com.